Welcome to Football Game Plans, Talking Ball with the Czar. Emery Hunt, the Czar of the Playbook, here on the beautiful campus of Johnson C. Smith with head football coach Maurice Flowers. Coach, I appreciate you taking time.
Thank you very much for having me.
Well, Coach, you were a star here in college. You got your first start as a coach here back in 2010. When this opportunity came open, was it, I guess it's safe to say it was a no-brainer?
It was a no-brainer, and it's really good to see our university want to see our football program do different. You mentioned I was a player here. I was a three-time All-American quarterback, but with that, not many championships at all, none. We've only had one CIAA championship at Johnson C. Smith University, and that's in 1969. So since that time, I can really say, football has not been very successful. Even since the year 2000, our average record is 2-8 here at JCSU. And so I'm just so pleased that our university wants different, wants our football program to be a program that challenges.
Now, here's the thing. When you talk about not having a championship since 1969, right? Mm-hmm. You're in a metro city area, and I feel like it's unique because a lot of folks just assume you have a metro city, the talent is going to always be there in plentiful, bountiful abundance, right? But when you think about schools like Tulane or for a while Miami or even USC, UCLA, Maryland, yes, schools that are in metro areas don't particularly do very well. Do you feel like that's been a big misconception? You're trying to change that here at GCSU?
What I can speak on at JCSU and some of the schools that you brought up, boy, just think about their traditions and how the University of Miami, what changed them around was getting local talent. You look at USC, some of the things that changed them around was getting some local guys to stay home. And that's really a big part of our philosophy in recruiting. We want a lot of our kids to come from the Charlotte metro area. If you look at the Charlotte metro area, state champions all around. And if you're not a state champion, there's teams that have played for or went deep in the playoffs. And that's in all classifications, 1A, 2A, 3A, 4A. And then less than 20 minutes over the border is the state of South Carolina, where that's the upstate of South Carolina. That's within 45 minutes to an hour from our campus. So our recruiting is going to take place a lot right here in our backyard. And you can see the 50 freshmen that we'll have coming in, about 35 of them are from the Charlotte metro area.
Now, Coach, the first HBCU game in history was here when it was Biddle University, yes, Biddle sir. College, and you guys faced a team up the street in Livingstone. First one, charter member of the United Negro College Fund. How big of a historical significance is this program as a whole?
Well, we just, when people think of HBCU football, a lot of times Johnson C. Smith isn't the first school that comes to mind, but we were the first, us, and we don't talk about our rival's name, but that school up the street, as you said, that's the commemorative classic. Took 2 days to ride on a wagon up there to play. And the university as a whole came together, whereas the home ec class made the uniforms for the young men, in which Johnson C. Smith or Biddle was the winner, 5-seater. So we're the winners, and we take pride in that. But it's a big historical, it has historical significance to us because we know that we're part of history. Every time that we go out and play, every time that we're going to play that game. As a player here at Smith 87 and 90, I've never lost to Livingstone College. As a coach here in 10 and 11, I did not lose to Livingstone College. And that's going to be something we're going to talk about all the time, is that you want to beat your rival, and it means something. This is where it started. This is where HBCU football started, was here. And we're very proud of that, and we're proud to carry on that tradition. And we're going to do it the right way. We're going to put out a team that's going to play hard, and we're going to represent the university and HBCU football the way it should.
What I love about you, Coach, is the fact that you have a fantastic offensive mind. And a lot of that is quarterback play, yes, understanding how things are set up. I only looked at it from a running back perspective, and I think in terms of blocking and that's yeah. it. But you see the big picture. And I noticed that, when you were at other schools, how you got everybody involved.
Yes.
How much do you find yourself, your playing career kind of fallen into how you became and how molded you as a coach?
Well, I tell you, as I tell the team and I tell our coaching staff that I think I was an underachiever as a quarterback. I think I was okay, but as a coach, I got to make sure I do what I did as a quarterback. And I think in making sure everyone is involved, not just on offense but defense and special teams, it just really helps myself as a leader make sure that everyone knows that they have a place on this ball club, that they can make a difference. And I think from the quarterback position, it's really more like a point guard, and you have to facilitate everything. And also, when I look at a quarterback, it used to be bad to be known as a game manager, but being a manager of a game and a team is really what it's all about. And as you talked about some of our past offenses, we do love to get a lot of people involved. And I'll just go back to last year at Fort Valley. Of course, we had Shamar Bridges, who's now with the Baltimore Ravens in their training camp. But when Shamar went down after Game 3, our offensive production actually picked up. And that's just a tribute to the system that we run and just everyone buying in. And we're doing the same things here at Johnson C. Smith and with our system and just making sure that everyone knows that they play a part in making us successful.
And I'm glad you brought up Shamar. I had him down at the HBCU Legacy Bowl.
Yes, sir.
Big time fan of his game. And here it goes to show you that it doesn't matter where you are, the NFL will find you. Do you find yourself now having to answer that question from guys that you out there recruiting that want to know if they can get to there from here?
Yes, sir. And this is great what HBCU football is doing right now. It was very eye-opening, as everyone saw when there were no HBCU football players drafted 2 years ago. And I'm glad that there was a mandate out that says this can never happen again, where we get the HBCU Combine, and then we get the HBCU Legacy Bowl. And then I'm very proud to say that I was the offensive coordinator at Fayetteville State, and the first HBCU player drafted was Josh Williams, who I helped recruit to come to Fayetteville State. And I just love the time that it is for HBCU football, and just my time with Shamar Bridges, it was just great to see all the NFL teams coming through Fort Valley State. And it's great seeing them start to come through Johnson C. Smith University. And it's good to be able to talk to recruits, talk to our current players, that you can make it from here if that's your dream. And it also helps that we're in Charlotte, North Carolina, not just Charlotte, North Carolina, but we're in uptown Charlotte and less than a mile from Carolina Panthers facilities. And so it's great to know that you've got NFL folks right around the corner.
Year one, process one here at JCSU. You've touched on a little bit of it, but when you look at, where you are now, what does success look like in year two?
I think we're looking at success. We're looking at, we were 1-7, 1-8 football team here at Smith in 21. I don't think you're going to measure success in wins and losses, because as the head coach and also the offensive coordinator, but we're looking at success. We want to compete for championships. You're not going to hear me say it's going to take 2 to 3 years before we start competing. We feel like we've done an outstanding job coming in and developing the guys that are currently on campus. And we feel like we've had a very good recruiting class. We've compared this recruiting class to the recruiting class at Fayetteville State in 17, where we brought in over 50 new players of high school recruits and a few transfers. And we've basically compared the two classes, and they're very similar. And so we look forward to these young men coming in and learning the system. We're going to have an advantage. We'll have 40 of them on campus at the end of June. And they'll have a chance to come in, and that's going to be really big for us, for them to come in and get a step ahead. So I look for us to just go compete at a high level, and we'll see where the chips fall. But we're not going to say that, look for us in 3 years to compete. Our young men come in and do what they're supposed to do and buy into the system. We feel like we're going to have a chance to win every game that we play.
Coach, this question that I'm going to ask now, you kind of drop little nuggets all throughout your answers, and I kind of know what the answer is going to be, but I still have to ask the question anyway, because I've seen it play out time and time again everywhere across the country. Mm-hmm. Do you feel like this program here is a sleeping giant?
Absolutely. And it's so easy to see. We're located in Charlotte, North Carolina, and Charlotte, North Carolina is one of the hotbeds of football in the South. If you look at most all Division I programs, FBS, FCS, they have people on their team from the Charlotte metro area. You look at some of the top D2 programs in this area. They recruit the Charlotte area, and that's the focal point of our recruiting success. It's going to be recruiting the Charlotte metro area, and it's a sleeping giant because their success has not been here. Success has not been here in the football program, and we feel that we have the coaching staff and the administration that's working together to produce a winner.
Black head coach, former outstanding quarterback. You don't say yourself short. You was fantastic throwing that rock.
Yes, sir.
Great play caller, great coordinator. How critical, and now in today's age, to have that pipeline of black head coach, black QB coach, black OC, black quarterback?
I think it's so important now that you just look at the highest level of the NFL. It's part of the Rooney Rule now that you must interview a black quarterback coach. I think that it's an area that's been, I'll just say, overlooked for a very long time. The same way that we feel that black head coaches in the NFL haven't been given a fair shake. But I just think that combination of being a decision maker is vital in just leadership, from the coach to the coordinator to the quarterback, that we can make great decisions. And you just look at what we have out there. I mean, I love what the Houston Texans are doing with Pep Hamilton, who I have to also give a Charlotte, North Carolina shout out from down the street at West Charlotte High School, quarterback. But Pep's the offensive coordinators, the Texans, and look at his quarterback coach, Ted White from HBCU, Howard. And then you look at the great things that's going on in Tampa with the best quarterback. He's not an African American, but the best quarterback of all time, Tom Brady. And Byron Leftwich, the things that he's doing as a coordinator, but also a former quarterback. So I just think the more opportunities that are out there for African Americans to be offensive coordinators and quarterback coach, and having to be able to instill that into black quarterbacks, we're just going to continue to see success.
We talk about the pipeline and now the access to opportunity and the resources. I feel like we're seeing a resurgence of HBCU football. I would say this is probably the third renaissance we're seeing in this era where we are now. We just had a D2 HBCU guy get drafted. Yes. Multiple NAIA guys are on camp rosters right now. Mm-hmm. So the talent is flush across HBCU landscape. Why would a student athlete coming out of high school now choose an HBCU?
Well, and that's the question that you'd have to ask yourself. We get so many phone calls and emails from young men that are being recruited by FBS and FCS, and they're saying, we want to visit an HBCU and we want to come to Charlotte, and we take those calls daily. And I just think that everyone sees now that you'll get a great education and there's quality coaches at this level. And I think that's something that's been probably understated for a long time, is that there are outstanding coaches on the D2 level in HBCU ball. But again, that's where the opportunity is afforded to us. And this is where we're taking advantage of them. And so I think young men and families see that they can get top education, a top flight football career, and then an opportunity at the end. An opportunity not just professionally in the workforce, but also an opportunity, if they're talented enough, at the next level in the NFL. And with that, now there's the other pro leagues out. The USFL is playing now. The XFL will be back next year. And then there's also Canadian football. So the opportunities to play professionally and earn a living are more and more for our young athletes right now.
So glad you brought that up, because it's about playing professionally. Way better time to come out as a student athlete than it is when you came out than it is when I came out. So you have so much right now at your fingertips. Another thing is, we all know, remember growing up, there was like 4 or 5 teams that played on TV. Now everybody's on some sort of streaming device. Everybody's get to be seen. So you really take that carrot away from the recruiting. So why, with all these options that students have, why JCSU?
Well, I tell you, you just hit the nail on the head. We went from, I want to say, the past 5 to 8 years with no TV coverage, where it looks like right now, I want to say we're scheduled to be on TV 2 to 3 or even 4 times. And it's just great. And if you look at it, that says a lot for a team that hasn't had a lot of winning seasons here in the past. So for us to get the notoriety, to be able to put a good product on television, we're looking forward to it. But why not Johnson C. Smith? We have great education led by outstanding president, and our athletic director. He's a legend. Our athletic director, Steve Joyner, getting ready to, he's approaching 600 wins on the basketball court, and a tremendous leader for us in the athletic department as our athletic director. And so he leads us the way that you should be led, to outstanding character, and he just provides tremendous leadership. And so why not Johnson C. Smith? We've invested in the programs, football, basketball, one of the most beautiful gyms you want to see, and a city that's just ready to host a winner.
Coach, you got me fired up. I wish I had more eligibility left to come here and play, but I see the vision. I'm glad you're back home doing what you love and doing it for the right reasons. So we wish you the best of luck this year and also moving forward. Thank you again.